Hi there, it's Stephanie. So here's part 2. So we've finished editing the story.html file, and we really don't have to do anything more with that file. If you want the user to be able to control both the slide and the HTML background of your Storyline project, then you have to now go into Storyline and tweak it a little bit. So let's show you what I've done here. So the project file that I'm providing has a single slide, and there's really nothing on that slide. You'll see over in the triggers and the layers, there's really nothing here at all. All the code is sitting up in the slide master, and that's because it was part of a larger project, and the changes I made to the menus applied across all the slides in the project. So that's why all the code's sitting up in the master layout, or the master slides. So let's just see here. So if you look in, in the lower right corner, you can see that there's a number of layers, one for the left menu and one for the right menu, which is called background. If I click on background, you'll see that the menu slides out. That's what it actually animates out. And then there are 9 thumbnails. Each thumbnail is given a number, basically. So this is BG1 for background 1, and then BG2, and you can see in the triggers, BG3, and so on and so forth. So I've created a variable. There's only one variable in this project, and it's called background, and it's just a text variable. And what it's going to do is whenever you click on any of these thumbnails, it's going to change the content of the variable to match the name of the image, BG1, BG2, BG3, and so on. And then also when the user clicks each thumbnail, it's going to execute some JavaScript. So the JavaScript looks familiar. It's the same code that you manually typed into the story.html file, except I've also put in a color number here. So it's just a hex number that if you have a larger file that might be loading, you may want to change the background color while that loads in, or not. It doesn't really matter, but I put it in there so you could see that you could actually add another parameter in here. You can also add sizing parameters and alignment, but you don't really need to do that for this purpose. So the URL and then the no repeat, because this happens to be a full page or full, I guess, page image. So I don't want it to repeat. It's not a little pattern file. And that's it. So for each one of these thumbnails, that's what I've done. I've set the background variable to equal the name and then executed the appropriate JavaScript. Now that deals with the background HTML of the web page, but it doesn't deal with changing the slide background within Articulate proper, or within Storyline proper. So to do that, what I've done is I haven't actually changed the background. I've just created a rectangle, and I filled that rectangle up with various images. Basically, I've created a state for each one of the images. So BG1, BG2, 3, 4, etc. So it's just a state, and I've given the state name the exact same name as the image itself, so I didn't get confused at all. And all that's happening here is it's saying, change the state of that background rectangle to be, in this case, if you click on the very first one, to be BG1 when the timeline starts, if the background is equal to BG1. So if you've actually clicked that thumbnail, then the background variable changes to become BG1. This trigger evaluates that and will change the background to match it accordingly. And that's all it is. So there's not anything else to do within Storyline. So you just publish that out. And then the only other thing that you need to do is you just need to copy your images. Like the first one that we did, you have to copy all your images into the root or into a folder, depending on how you want to configure that, so that when you actually launch it, it can find the image file itself. And then once you've done that, and with this one here, I've actually done that. I've copied the images in, and I didn't make any further changes to that story.html file other than what we did with transparency. And then if I double click and fire that up, you can see, just like how we started this, if I click on any of these images, here's BG1. So it changes the background to be BG1 and through the thumbnail JavaScript, and then it also changed the slide rectangle to be the state of BG1 when I did that. And that's all there is to it. So you've got all the code. There's a link below here so that you can download the source files. And as usual, if you have any questions, just give me a shout.